Hello DJ Lovelies, this is Misha M, your geek mom, and welcome to another episode of Diversely Geek Discusses, a space between planes where fans explore the meaning of being geek, learn what it means to identify and embrace your inner geek, and how connecting with geeks across the globe can help us on our journeys to transforming our fandom passions into positive action.
Hey DG Lovelies, we're back again with the lovely
Nerdy Chap. Hence the clerical collar. Clerical collars are cool.
and we're here to have a little fun in a post wrap-up for San Diego Comic-Con 2018, where we will discuss Richard's experiences as a first-timer, and also go through some fun little goodies.
They're down there.
Yeah.
We got goodies here, we got goodies there, we got
goodies
goodies over there.
here,
Trust me, it's going to be a fashion show.
everywhere.
It's all good.
And you, the audience, check under your seat. I'm sorry, there's nothing there. Well, maybe there is, but I didn't put it there. Okay, so we're going to start out with what was the highlight of this trip for you?
Oh, I have to narrow it down to one.
Oh.
You can go day by day.
No pressure.
Okay.
Okay,
When
okay.
people ask you about
Exactly.
Comic-Con, what's the first thing that you tell them?
Well, I would just say if I had to narrow it down to one, the first thing that came to my mind, the highlight definitely of my day Thursday was seeing Matt Lanter randomly. I did not know, nor did I expect that I was going to run into the voice actor for Anakin Skywalker of the Clone Wars at the Lucasfilm booth at San Diego Comic-Con, but he was there and I totally fanboyed. And so for Matt, if you are out there listening, again, I want to apologize, but yes, it was so awesome seeing you because as I told you, I believe that you have done the Star Wars fandom a great service by giving us so much of Anakin's story in the Clone Wars. So thank you. Thank you.
And to add, it was right after he had done what?
It was after he did the Clone Wars panel, which we could not make. But he gave us the big spoiler, which was Matt, of all people, told us that, yes, Clone Wars saved.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We had just come out of the Doctor Who panel in Hall H, and we went to meet up, and we did the
MIlleniumFalcon experience,
Millennium
which was
Falcon,
awesome.
Which was awesome.
Yes.
Oh my god.
which we're going to talk about. And I think you were getting something at the Her Universe area, and then we were just like talking.
Yeah,
It was like
so
really
I was
cool.
actually geeking at the Her Universe area within the Lucasfilm spot, and then I ran over like a big old sweet girl going, "Oh my god, there's Dee Bradley Baker and Matt Lanter with Ashley Eckstein. Oh my god, they're modeling the clothes. I'm gonna get a selfie." I turned around to
On
take
a poster.
On a poster,
Yeah,
mind
a
you.
poster.
And I was squeezing
Next to
over
the
that
booth.
poster that was next to the booth.
We're just like about 10, 15 feet away.
On
just
the other
chilling,
side, just
talking.
chilling, relaxing, because I'm like, yo, wait, I'm getting this picture.
She's yelling for us, telling us, and we're like, yeah, this is cool. It's a
So
poster.
I go to take So then I turn around to take the selfie, and then I'm looking past my camera, and lo and behold, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Matt Lanter, it's Anakin. I didn't say that. I wasn't rude.
Well, that's the whole thing, and that's how the story kind of goes because we didn't realize it because we're both going like, yeah,
The
poster.
We
We
We're
get
going,
it.
Yeah, we get it.
Duh.
Get on the poster. Duh. And I'm like,
And then she's
she
like,
runs
no,
over.
I
next
walk over.
to
I
you.
said, next to you.
And yeah, she just runs over and we're
And I'm like, what?
literally like right behind us while we were just talking for like 5 minutes. He was just chilling there. With his
Literally,
family.
they were standing next to his family the entire time, and he's standing right next. Richard's back is to him, and I was like, "Oh, good lord, this is amazing." Okay,
But it just goes to show that like some people honestly are so humble and so down to earth that they'll just walk the floor with their families, take them around. Matt Lanter doesn't think, you know, he's gonna get mobbed by fans, but
I don't think he thinks that because, except for his work on Timeless that people know of, people don't. Voice actors have this wonderful thing of being able to walk around without people going, "Oh my gosh, that's the voice of such and such." They just like, "Oh, that's some guy," and then or that's a woman, and someone then tells them like, "Do you know what voice they do?" No, but otherwise, like, I don't know who that is. But yeah, when it's Matt Lanter, voice of Anakin, you perk up. If you're a Star Wars fan.
She's the bit.
yeah, and
I'm a huge Timeless fan, absolutely huge Timeless fan. So is Joe.
Well, it was funny because
Hashtag save Timeless. Sorry,
yes,
go ahead.
Save Timeless. You were talking to Matt, and then Richard's like, "Oh my god, okay, I know." Like you were trying to like calm yourself down a little, but you're like, "No, I'm gonna fanboy." You told me, you were like, "Okay, just know this is going to be bad for me. I am going to fanboy the most you've ever seen, probably. I'm gonna try, but this is what he means to me." And then you proceeded to say everything to him as well.
Ugly face.
Yeah, and it was really sweet because he was so sweet. His family was so sweet.
Oh my God, was he sweet? So gentle and so calm.
Yeah, and to add to my fanboyism, since he told us that Clone Wars is saved and they're going to new season, I'm like, "You're kidding." He's like, "No." So I quickly looked up on my phone, YouTube, found the trailer, because apparently someone dropped it that fast, play it, and as I see, and I'm like going, "Oh my gosh," I can have this feeling that they're going to finally lead to the Battle of Coruscant, which starts episode 3. I'm there, and yes, this is me embarrassing myself, but I was there on the floor of San Diego Comic-Con doing the Daniel Bryan yes chant. Yes! Yes!
Oh, yeah.
Yes! As loud as I could.
Yes, he was. Yes,
because
he did.
Clone Wars got a new season, and
we
they're
were
finally
both like,
going to end it the way in which they intended to.
Yeah, so basically the reaction we would have had in a panel of other people screaming just as much as we would have been, and no one would have noticed, we were screaming as loud as we would have in a panel in the middle of
the Lucasfilm booth.
And
yeah,
everyone started looking over because we were just full on like
nerding
out,
everything you could think of.
And people were like, and we were like, "Oh, it's a show. It just got renewed," and they're like, "Oh yeah." Like, meanwhile, Matt and his family are still there, but they understand. You know?
Yeah.
So that was really.
I think
crazy.
I turned around and said to them, "Excuse us while we fangirl," is what I think I said, something like that, or nerd out.
Yeah, I think it was worth it to have missed the panel just because we got to get the news from
Him directly.
Directly, yeah.
From Anakin.
Yeah.
So from now on, Anakin, you know.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a highlight-ish experience, but I know you had a lot more at Lucasfilm itself too.
Oh yeah. Well, if that was to segue into favorite booth, favorite booth was the Lucasfilm booth, and it wasn't just because, oh my gosh, I got to meet Matt. That was just the surprise bonus. Was that even planned? No.
No.
Did they announce anything that Matt was going to be showing up? No. It was just he decided to stop by. We ended up catching him there. It was awesome. But what they did have on display is they definitely did have their representation of Del Rey books, which brings us to this happy
They always do.
book
I
right
really
here.
love that.
This is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Anakin Thrawn cover for Thrawn Alliances, the new book out by Timothy Zahn, which is the sequel to the Thrawn book. And because of this edition, I will show, there's also the signed copy edition at San Diego Comic-Con. So, yep, this cost me full price and everything, maybe a little bit more, but it was because it was being released there. So yeah, $45. Got it there.
Do you see that cover though?
Yeah,
But the cover is beautiful.
I'm going to do something we don't normally do. I'm going to bring this up to the camera just because it is amazing. For anyone who's a Star Wars fan, Anakin and Thrawn, well, like, young, I guess, broody, like hot Callus, I guess, hot Thrawn-esque Callus,
God.
Thrawn.
God forbid, no.
I mean, it looks like that's what they were going for, but can we just address Anakin? Okay, sorry. And then the
Hayden,
autograph.
Hayden.
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
But yes,
So
it's
exciting
beautiful.
because we were able to meet him and see him last year at Star Wars Celebration, and he hadn't been out and about in the Star Wars world, so it's really amazing to get a chance to see him, right here. Love it.
And, as far as Hayden Christensen, yes, he was at Star Wars Celebration that was last year in Orlando, and these two lovelies got the autograph I pre-bought for him because I was in the hospital, which sucked, but I thank them for getting the autograph for me. And, I wanted this one because it has Anakin. The actual cover to the book has Darth Vader and Thrawn in their contemporary clothes because the story seems to be, as it says here, time for Thrawn to face his future, time for Vader to face his past. So this is probably, without me, I haven't read it yet. I plan to read it, but it's a book in which they're going to go probably current timeline with Thrawn as far as being the sequel to the book of Thrawn being in the Empire, working with Darth Vader, while at the same time doing flashbacks of when Thrawn knew Anakin Skywalker during the time of the Clone Wars, because Thrawn met Anakin during that time. Which, if you have read the first book, he actually, when he meets Emperor Palpatine for the first time...
Yeah, I was going to say, it's part of that relationship.
Yeah, he says that he knew, he's like, I knew your servant who always spoke highly of you, Anakin Skywalker. And he is unaware that Darth Vader and Anakin are one and the same.
That's soon.
So, as you saw, that was the special book that you can only get at San Diego Comic-Con. There is a Barnes & Noble edition that will come with an exclusive Padme poster, so get that book. And she is on the planet of Batuu. And for those who know, yes, that is the name of the planet for Star Wars Galaxy Edge. Disney is already starting its marketing campaign. You see where this is going. So, it's all good.
I know the booth had a lot of books and authors that you had mentioned.
Yes. Talking about before, Lucasfilm was my favorite booth because I was able to get the book, had the great MIlleniumFalcon experience, which is what it was you got to actually sit in the cockpit of the MIlleniumFalcon from Solo, a Star Wars story, of just the cockpit only. And you got to get cool souvenir Han Solo dice, so you too can put that on your car and have the luck of Han Solo with you. But what I also liked about it is not only in the booth had all this stuff that's Star Wars, they had the Her Universe, Star Wars collection stuff there at their booth, is that Lucasfilm was really good at handling its lines.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It made sure that people were able to get to where they needed to be without causing any major fire hazards. So Lucasfilm, to me, Star Wars was just my fandom that was just blessing me the entire time I was there. Which brings up the other booth, which was Del Rey. Yes, Del Rey. Pictures.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna show it to you.
We'll show.
Yeah.
We'll post pictures. But anyway,
They were nerding out
Just a little.
I nerded out too, but they were. I feel like on the verge of tears happy. It was.
I got to play with the switches and buttons and controls.
Oh yeah, that was
and
the first thing.
Steering thing. That's why I said I want the pilot seat.
I kept an audio pictorial of it, so you'll be able to hear that.
Yeah, and the guy was trying to control us. We were just we were just on everything.
Hyperdrive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
So, anyway, talking about Del Rey. Del Rey also had authors there as well as Penguin Books. And since they're both book publishing companies and everything, they distributed the books. Del Rey is known for Star Wars. Penguin Press, I believe, is the name of the book company. They came out with Ahsoka. So because of that, because of all their ties and everything, I was able to not only get Timothy Zahn to sign my original Thrawn book, along with the autograph book that I showed you, but also I got to meet E.K. Johnson and get her to sign my Ahsoka book. And I got to meet Delilah S. Dawson and got her to sign my Phasma book. So thank you to all you authors and all that you bring out in the sense of creativity and your writing and adding to the Star Wars lore. With that also added to the other little Star Wars surprise of I got invited to go with these two to the Her Universe fashion show and got to meet Ashley Eckstein. And she
Who
signed...
is, if you don't know...
Is Ahsoka. And she signed my Ahsoka book. So I have a picture with Matt and I have an autograph from Ashley. Winning. So yeah. At the same time, at the Her Universe fashion show, the big surprise that no one expected was going to happen was, even though I couldn't make the Doctor Who panel on Hall H, Jodie Whittaker just decided to just stop on by. You can find the video on YouTube. You can see her, and also there.
It's coming. We're going to be posting it.
Shameless plug, Diversely Geek. Look on there. But yes, you can... You can find... What?
This is the Diversely Geek Discusses.
Of course. See? Like I'm saying. Shameless plug.
That was pretty good. Thanks. Love it.
But anyway. You can find the whole thing that Jodie Whittaker did show up. Which also brings us to... When we're talking about merch and stuff. I've talked with you about books. Let's talk about our other big, must-had-to-grab stuff. Clothing apparel. So... As you can see, I'm wearing this hoodie. It says Doctor Who San Diego 2018. This was being sold at the BBC America booth. And on the back, well, Nisha has to show you what's on the back side. It's a little cartoon version of Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, it's like the cutest tribute.
It's called the Kawaii pattern.
Yeah,
that was
Kawaii
exclusive to Comic-Con. Which they usually do, but come on, man. This is like the cutest thing ever.
That also includes... At the BBC America booth, the new 13th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver!
New mugs.
And
I got
yes,
these mugs.
it lights up.
Where's mine?
So we have an unboxed version.
Oh, Jyoti had me do an unboxing ceremony. Maybe we'll show it to you. She was so funny. Okay.
And yes, the cups are from the BBC
that was
America
the
booth.
exclusive. This is only on the BBC website now, but that one you can only get at Comic-Con. Here, Jyoti.
Yes.
Show everybody how to use this.
Mm-hmm. It's your song.
No, it's okay. Good. You did it so well.
Okay.
You did it so well.
So, already, yay, it makes the sound. But, also, ooh, look, the crystal spins! And you can do it this way if you want to just do side, or you can turn it this way, and you can do the side thing too.
And it's really good for both hands.
Yeah, it's actually, If
you can do fishing kind of casting of stuff like
cast a spade.
Fish.
And speaking, I know we kind of.
And talking about casting, you mentioned.
I was just saying. Oh, yes, it does very much look like a wand. If you
just
well, I mean, it's kind of hard to see. But
just
basically, there's a crystal at the top, and then this is some sort of silver wood, which makes it a wand.
Yes, it does.
So the Doctor is also a wizard.
So I guess Expecto Patronum! Or whatever.
And while we're going back to her universe, I think
which is why I was going to bring up, yes.
Oh, yes.
If we can show the coat and pants from her universe exclusive.
Yeah.
You're making me get up.
It's next
Briefly.
to you.
Next to you.
Just be like this, people.
But shout out to her universe for giving everyone awesome goodie bags.
Oh my
with,
lord. Unbelievable.
All these different types of goodies. They're so cool, and we
that Her Universe swag bag that we got, from what I understand, it's the first year. Well, she's done it regularly, but my God, it had a copy of her of the book. It's Our Universe. Mm-hmm. There were coupons for some unbelievable things, and I forgot to bring mine back with me. Oh, the cup. That was in there. Everybody got an exclusive sipper cup, but it's not small. It's a big one.
So as everyone is also probably clearly seen, this is the Her Universe Doctor Who 13th Doctor jacket with TARDIS pattern inside.
Woo!
And also the pants that are gender neutral, that also have a little teeny tiny TARDIS on the pants.
Sonic pocket.
There's a Sonic pocket because, you know.
And then she had another pocket, I think, because she said she believes in pockets. And she,
Believes
Jody,
in
at her universe, Jody explained to us the significance of the colors in the entire outfit and how she chose, basically, what it was meant to represent. Do you remember?
Yes, I do. Since she was saying about essentially that since she gets so rudely, to quote her, thrown out of the TARDIS and into the sky, then you got the kind of like the gray of the clouds of the sky, the blue.
Into the dark.
Into the dark, the blue.
First it's the dark.
The dark, but still blue of sky.
Right.
And all
And
that.
then when
And the rainbow then went to emerge into the dawn of a new day.
Which is represented by the periwinkle blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's which, when you see it, you realize that's what it is.
Which is probably also why, now that I have these things to add, because the jacket and the pants were San Diego exclusive, these I just kind of picked up myself online and things. If you add yellow suspenders and the rainbow t-shirt, you get still that sky pattern and everything like that.
Yeah.
Dawn of a new day, dawn of a new age with Doctor Who. In which doesn't, as she said, it doesn't matter what gender, what age, you're the doctor, period.
That's it.
So
Exactly
it's fandom for all. So as we showed you goodies, those are mainly my goodies. You get the jacket, they get the pants, they get the Sonic, you get the hoodie. Super comfy.
A word for many days.
The book from Star Wars. So that's mainly what I focus on as far as merch. The rest of my money was all blown on autographs. So like people I got to see was like Lee Merriweather, for example. You know.
I know. Oh my
so
gosh.
for those of you who don't know, Lee Merriweather played Catwoman in the Batman 1960s movie version, and she's also played Catwoman for a couple other episodes. But yeah, she's the movie Batman 60s Catwoman. And has done a lot of other stuff along the way. But she was signing. It was great to see her. I think her and Burt Ward are probably the only two original cast members still alive from that, which is sad. And we also have more swag to talk about.
Oh no, I was just saying, who else
did we see?
Oh yes, we saw Gal.
Gal, but you.
Oh yes. Okay, sorry. I mentioned we saw Gal Gadot live on stage on Hall H for the Warner Brothers presentation. Which, by the way, I will go on record as saying, Warner Brothers, you did an awesome job. You had to step up for a San Diego Comic-Con that did not have a Marvel Studios presentation, and I think you did very well. Did amazing.
Unbelievably well, yeah.
So you knocked it out of the park, you impressed people, now we just gotta wait for the movies to come out to be like, yay, are they winners, or we'll find out. Hopefully they're all good for you, Warner. Hopefully you guys make the bank you need.
A lot of DC buy-ins. I mean, I'm DC, so I'm really hoping so.
And the thing is about these thingies here is they have this is Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald. It has the Deathly Hallows on it because Fantastic Beasts is a Warner Brothers film. So you got to wear these things and they would blink at certain moments. Newt would wave his wand and then all of a sudden it'd be blue. Or Johnny Depp actually showed up as Gellert Grindelwald. And
did this very ominous speech.
And these would blink during that time to show, oh, you have magic, there's potential in you.
Yep.
And then even during the DC stuff, they would blink. During the Lego movie, they would blink.
Yeah, so
they had different colors.
And they were matching some of the laser lights that were done, if you remember, which I really thought was awesome.
So that was the whole thing about what these are, the what I call them magic bands for Warner Brothers.
They were great.
No trademark.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also met one of the authors of Wonder Woman.
Yes, I did. Joy Murchison Kelly. So, you should be able to talk about her more.
Yes. So, I can tell you who she is or tell you about the background, but she was, so we all know that the Wonder Woman character and series was created by Marston, created by Marston, which is a gentleman, and he was actually highly influenced. If you saw the movie, you'll know he was influenced by a number of very strong, very okay.
I was just looking at you.
Female role models basically in his life, and he decided that he wanted to write along the lines of the Amazonian. But what we never realized is that a good percentage of the writing was actually not done by him. It was ghostwritten by
Joy Murchison Kelly.
Right. And I would say the percentage that we probably most fell in love with, because she was very influential in the first years of Diana of Themyscira.
Yeah. If you try and find a Joy Murchison Kelly comic with her name on it, you won't find it as Kelly. You would find it just as her maiden name, Joy Murchison, because Kelly is her married name. But yeah, if you get Silver Age, I think, Wonder Woman comics, you will find, or even Golden Age, like the earliest of the early, because she came in by, as she said to the panel, about issue 15. So Wonder Woman was kind of out already, but she really started writing about issue 15 of like Wonder Woman's early run, like early run, and has really helped establish a lot of things of the character.
Mm-hmm.
She is a 90-something-year-old woman. She lives locally in Florida for us, so yay, go Florida, and with her husband and all. And she shared how she actually worked with William Moulton Marston and all. What was the experience like? What was the philosophy going into it?
Yeah,
and everything.
She was the first woman to write Wonder Woman comics.
Yep.
In the 1944, she was a student of William Marston.
Yeah, which is how she knew him as she knew him as her professor.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, comic book guy. She knew him as Professor Marston because she was writing stuff for school and essays and things. He was doing, psychology degree or something like that? Psychology, philosophy?
But
yeah, he did
psychology.
So yeah, her term papers made him go, "You're good. I want you to write for Wonder Woman. I need you to make this happen."
So, Richard, you were able to get a lot of stuff done for a first timer.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, this guy, we mentioned it before, but you can never prepare enough. He prepared
probably
the most anyone could prepare
in the way,
and it was exactly
the right thing to do.
The right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mainly my thing, and I don't have it to show, so that'll be another time. That'll be a video in which we can do of how to prepare for San Diego Comic-Con. As I had a folder, I had maps printed out. I came up with a schedule based on all the stuff, finding out of like what things seem to be more or less of definite, accepting the fact that you can't do everything. This is the one thing is, for those of you who are watching and going to thinking to yourself, wow, a first-timer was able to accomplish, got into Hull Age, and because I mentioned about the Warner Brothers panel, was able to just meet celebrities and get books and all this stuff. It's great. This is easy. Only if you take the time to plan a lot and accept the fact that there are going to be a lot of crowds and you can't do everything and you really have to go, which is more important. And this is where I want to add in caution. A lot of people do YouTube videos out there and say, stuff like, you can't just ask someone to go get you something as a gift or something from San Diego. And it's true, because for certain autographs, like I got Jeff Johns' autograph, but the only way I got Jeff Johns' autograph is I had to put my name in for like these random lot of pull online, and I was one of the random people who got it, and I think I put in you could put in a claim for at least, gosh, I want to say 20 or more things.
No, there are over 50.
Yeah, okay, over 50 things, sorry. Over 50 things, and I want you to think about the odds here. If you had an opportunity to get 50 things, and at the end of the day, you only get one, that should tell you what your odds are.
And that's not even like 50 things that you want to do. That's just the general.
Throwing your name in
That's
general.
just throwing your name
Yeah,
into a
it's like-
schedule to see if you could get to UCC, Funko, Hasbro,
Yeah,
signing,
so basically
blah, blah.
at Comic-Con this year, instead of doing all of their exclusives, signings,
in the sales page.
and there were some other sets of like, I guess, comic book signings and things, instead of doing it only at the sales pavilion where you have to wait overnight or be there at the crack of dawn and online, they did it also, because they also did that, they did it pre-online, and the over 50 isn't what you'd want to do. It's everything, all of the options between exclusives, the comic signings, cast signings. So most likely you're going to choose probably half of that, maybe 30. So the odds, are even less and less. So if someone asks you, hey, can you get a signature from this person? It's very, very, very unlikely.
Unless they're there remotely on their own as independent of a cast, independent of a premiere, independent of a screening. If they're there on behalf of a major entertainment studio, no, that's not how San Diego Comic-Con works.
Like Lee Merriweather was easy just because she was one of the people who are just there with her own booth. That it wasn't like you had to get a lot of pull for her.
So Dan Fogler for you. You were able
for Dan. Well, actually, Dan Fogler was more of a shock. So let me explain that story. I was online looking for stuff. I think one of the best things in which I was sourced by both these two lovely ladies was San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog. I found somewhere on there that Dan Fogler was going to be signing at 2 different booths. I tried to get him at one booth. He wasn't there. He was running behind, which apparently I heard is a common thing for Dan. No offense to Dan, but it's just more of, you're busy, or a flight gets delayed, or stuff like that. It's nothing against the actual actor. It's just more of like life happens. So I'm like, okay, couldn't make it to one booth, but I knew of the backup booth he was going to be at, which was the heavy metal booth. I went to that one. That's where I found him. And he was signing his comic book. He wasn't even signing 8x10 shots of his work from Fantastic Beasts. He was more there like, hey, I created my own comic and all. You want a copy? I'm like, yeah, sign? Sure. Excellent. Threw down the money for that. But that was the only way in which it was. First of all, I found out last minute. Second of all, the first booth in which I thought he was going to be at, he couldn't be at because he was just running behind because life is life. So I had to try the next attempt of finding him at the booth, and that's when I actually found him.
Yep.
So, again,
that's how it is.
It's not easy.
That's kind of how we ended up meeting the cast for Baymax, no?
Yeah. Sometimes they'll be like, I'm just pulling this out to say, like, something like this. A simple freebie from the Marvel booth.
Beautiful, by the way. Absolutely beautiful.
Just this. It is beautiful. But just getting this, even though it's a freebie, you don't even know that it's going to be there, is also very hard to just get the Marvel freebie. It really depends on the crowd. It depends on timing. It's not easy.
Again, it's planning.
Yeah.
You have to understand, and this is what we discussed quite a bit ahead of time.
Yeah, essentially, essentially they scared me. And they scared me so much that I over-planned, which actually is the way you want to plan.
To do it.
To actually have fun.
In the planning, for his planning, we
definitely did
scared him.
I felt bad.
We were honest, though. We weren't wrong, were we, about anything? Because it's
the metaphor I'll use, and for those of you
I
who
wasn't that bad. I was so quiet about it.
People who live in Florida know exactly what I'm talking about. People who live in California may know exactly what I'm talking about. For the rest of you who are out there in whatever state you're at, again, you may have heard the stories, but this is the best way I can give you an idea of what San Diego, the city, including Comic-Con, looks like. I want you to imagine it's New Year's Eve at Walt Disney World or Disneyland. If you know how it's completely packed, and I mean Main Street, wall-to-wall people, and even that circular sphere with Magic Kingdom is all covered, people waiting for the fireworks. Same thing for Disneyland, however, how it's laid out.
Google a picture.
Just Google a picture.
Or Times
That
Square.
is San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, it is.
Because
The ball
even,
drop at Times Square.
I had a moment on Friday where I was trying to make it more of an easy day. I'm like, some of the stuff I want to do, I'm not going to do this. I'll skip these things. I'm going to try and make this a relaxed day to catch up on some of the sleep I lost when I first arrived. Silly me. I was over at the convention, and I thought, I can easily get back to my hotel room going through the Gaslight District. I look, and I see sea of people.
Indeed.
And I'm just like, yeah, scratch that. I'll just stay around here at the convention. That seems fine. I'll just relax here.
We talked about it with Melissa, but
We
the
did.
Gaslamp Quarter and all the outside Comic-Con
The
experiences
pate.
are
Pate.
just as busy, if not a little
Busier.
busier than
And it's a
inside
different- it's a
Comic-Con. 'Cause
different-
Comic-Con in the convention center has an order, even though it's crazy and chaos. It has an order of lines and people going in very specific places. Outside, it's just free for all. It's kind of like a giant city block mosh pit. In a way.
Yeah, it's kind of a good way to put it.
And you said one of the weirdest things that you saw, or like the most random thing you saw this trip.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the most random things I saw, it was at Adult Swim. They had a thing where you could ride a banana like you're riding a bull. And
Don't swim.
so I'm like, whatevs. It's all good.
It can be anything, honestly.
This was found over by one of the hotels.
Yeah, it's the back of the convention center
Yeah.
by the Hilton.
Yeah, we were telling you
the
about
Hilton.
that in our other interview. We kind of go over everything that's back there. So
Honestly, even I'm not a fan of pretty much maybe one Adult Swim show. It's always cool going just because
it's fun.
they're like they're the chillest and they're just like, yeah, ride a banana, get a free shirt, party in like the mosh pit. They actually had this. They like most booths and outside areas, they're evolving, and they actually had a concert each night, and they shifted their hours just to the evening because I mean, it's a lot to be out there all day
And the heat.
and you actually did a Hull H line this year
Yeah.
as a newbie.
Yeah.
Wait.
Learn from her.
He did the whole H line that Mama stayed on for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, she stayed on for all of us all the time.
But
But that again goes back to planning. If he had just gone by himself, I think the experience might have been a little bit different.
I would probably have been farther back in the line. Not
Probably nowhere in the line.
way down there.
I
But
mean,
she already had a spot. She's like, "Hey, join me." Okay.
Well, that's
Yeah,
how
that's-
it works
It's
with the ADA
And that is actually how San Diego Comic-Con works in general. If you go with a group of friends and you can have someone planted in this line holding a spot for you, as long as it's the allowable amount that can join up with the party, because they have
5 or
certain
less.
things. Yep, 5 or less. So there you go. Then sure, then you guys can all like go out, do your thing, come back. You're all going together as a group into whatever experience you want to go to. That's how you kind of do it. You gotta send out little reconnaissance patrols of like,
That
be in
would
this
be
line, be in
correct.
this line, be in
That
this
would
line.
be correct.
Done.
The whole time you're messaging. Oh yeah, well I'm gonna wait on that line, so you guys go do this, and I'll hold your space for you.
I think there was only one morning where the 4 of us actually were like, okay, we have a plan. We're all gonna go do something specific. It was like the only time I think all of us were kind of technically together, but not because we split up. And that was the morning I was mindset on getting the Winona Earp cast signing, but then for Richard, I was set on getting the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. signing at Marvel, or any Marvel signing.
Which didn't happen.
Sadly, Marvel's ADA planning was not the best this year. They had a lot of things on one side where the ADA line usually goes, so it wasn't too good for people in wheelchairs and electric scooters to be able to get on that line in a timely and or orderly
or safe
manner.
Well, the other thing is what, to be honest, to those watching, not only did you have to get in the line at the right time, but at the same time they do these little slip things, and if you got the right one, you got to be in. If you got the wrong one, too bad, so sad. It was like it was a drawing poll on some of them.
Yeah, but Marvel, we press the button.
Yeah, Marvel, you press a button, whatever. Press a button, get a little slip of paper. If you got the one with the X, good for you. If it was blank, sorry. So,
That's another thing about Comic-Con. It's like you can
They do
wait
that.
for 12 hours and
Online for something that's
if
a
it's
raffle.
a lottery, it doesn't matter.
If it's a lottery, you don't win it, you don't win it.
Your odds aren't really any better. It's just that you're in the amount of people that's going to be in the drawing, but you may not get it. Like for Marvel, we went together. You were able to get one. I didn't. And then I went that day for that, and I ended up being the person that they ran out on. So, you know, and that was a very interesting case because we were watching the numbers drop rapidly within the first 10 minutes at Marvel for the signing of the convention. So sometimes you think, oh yeah, I can be there 15 minutes late. No, for these things, you can't.
You can't.
Mm-mm.
You really can't. Just a little side note that you guys should know with Hall H has changed completely now. For you it was park for the course because you didn't know differently. And you now get you see how my bracelet is cinched? There's a cinched wristband that goes on you. You don't put the cinched wristband on you until they now scan your badge. They RFID scan your badge, attach it to the wristband. It's in a sense that's how it works. Then from now on, as ADA, when you go in to Hall H, you also scan in. Now, if you were in Hall H, you got your space and you want to run out and go to Exhibition Hall to meet someone to get something, and they have a panel going, or that panel is not over, until they tell you, you are not allowed to leave or you lose your space. And that's all there is. They will not scan you out and give you the ticket to come back into Hall H unless a certain amount of time has passed. So I needed to go to the restroom, and it was packed up. So I was like, fine, let me go use the one outside. And then I needed to get you because you had some medicine for me, and I couldn't get out. Otherwise, I would have lost the space for the Saturday panel. And I had, of course, waited a long time for that Saturday panel. Yeah, I can't even remember right now. My brain's losing
Warner
it.
Brothers.
It was Warner
it was Warner Brothers. And, it was important because, I really wanted them to have the experience. So I did what I did.
And that's the other thing about Comic-Con. It changes every year. Everything can change every year. So you can have all the advice from everyone, but I think, honestly, it's just have one expectation, and even that expectation be very adaptable and flexible with. It's just about the experience, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah. But again, I want to say for those who do want to have that moment of like, well, I want to succeed, I want to be able, I would say this. What I came to learn, and I came in as a newbie, but I felt like in some way I may have learned quickly how to master San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
And that is, if you're an autograph person, you want to go for the autographs you know are definite to get. Not the ones that are lottery pulls, not the ones that are random.
Right.
The ones you know that person is actually going to physically be there, and they're going to have a table set up in a line or whatever, and you just pay X amount of dollars like you would at any other con. That's your guarantees. Same thing about how I kind of found Dan Vogler. Be willing to show up early. Be willing to, find the right booth. Know some of these booth signings. That's how they happen. I mean, I will say this. I want to give a shout out to him because his story is also a great story. It's just, I always feel bad that I can't remember the name of his wife. Because his wife is part of that main story. For those who are out there, look up the original voice actress for all the female characters for South Park. Like people like, the bus driver and all that, the original Mrs. Cartman. That woman has been doing voice acting for years. Until she tragically died. Let me say his name right. I think it was Dino Andrade was married to her. when he was married to her, she was the light of his life. They spent times going together as doing couple cosplays and things like that. They enjoyed their lives together, and when she died, his life was shattered. He felt miserable, and it wasn't until he found his high school sweetheart out of the blue, came out of nowhere, found him. They ended up getting married because she nursed him back to life. But because he had such a great experience with his first wife, he developed a group called Soul Geek, which is a dating group, so that his belief is he wants people to have the same kind of happiness that he and his original first wife did, and even his own current wife, and he wants people to have that joy. So soulgeek.com. He was manning the booth at soulgeek.com. He told us about this when I was at the Cartoon Voices Part 2 panel, which is... and the whole thing about Part 2 was just it was a different round of voice actors. So if you missed Part 1, you weren't missing much. You just got a new group of people. And that's cool. But by meeting up with him, I got his autograph. He does the voice of Speedy Gonzales currently. He also does a lot of other voices and everything. And that's the same thing. He was a voice actor at a booth that is his own business that he personally represents. And that is the way in which I got his autograph. That is the way in which I met him and everything. And I do want to give a shout out to soulgeek.com. If you are someone who is looking for someone, go to Soul Geek. Because he believes in that. He wants people to have that kind of love and joy that he had. So check it out.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description box below.
But again, that's what I mean by finding guarantees. Stopping by it took me 3 tries actually to actually get Delilah S. Dawson at Del Rey. I kept stopping by Del Rey at certain times as she was signing. I missed her, whatever. But I did get an opportunity to meet her. I thought I was going to be, I was already late. I thought I missed it, but she was still hanging around the booth to where I was able to get the autograph. God was good to me. Life is good to me. Higher power, whatever, good to me. And so, again, I wouldn't have had that opportunity unless I stopped by the booth. You look for the guarantees and those kind of things. You can't, lottery pulls are not guarantees. Trying to get in Hall H, not always a guarantee unless you have camped out. And even then...
And you have a team.
Question mark.
A team.
A lot of the panel things, again, you have to be early. Early is always the key thing. But yes, you want to make sure you go like, I must do this. Because my metaphor I want to give you, again, going back to what I said, Disney World on New Year's Eve or Disneyland on New Year's Eve. Same thing during Christmas. When Pirates of the Caribbean, a well-known Disney ride, usually is a 10-minute wait when it's an off-season time, is a 2-hour to 4-hour wait because you're there on Christmas Day or New Year, and you're okay with that, then you can accept a 2 to 4 hour wait to get into Hall H, to get into Ballroom 20, to get into the booth, into the panels that you want to go to.
That would be Ballroom 20. Hall H would be 8 hours.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that Mom is usually the one who stays on that line for the 8 to 10 hours.
But that's the idea. That's the mindset you have to have.
But that's a decision that you make, and it's a team mentality. And I will keep bringing that back to you because we've been doing this for years, and we always enlist a lovely little core group of folks.
I mean, it used to be a little. I think the more that they evolve technology, it is a little harder to. Like it used to be easy to just like go into one panel, like say 2 panels at the same time. Which happens all the time.
All the time.
For me, it's every single panel I go to. There's another panel at the same time that I want to go to. So, in the past few years, you've been able to, just leave your stuff for a little bit, or don't. But just say, if you're sitting there, ask someone next to you to hold it. Get it back from
Not
class,
anymore.
And run over to another, another panel and see if you could just see a little bit of it. And then, go back. But now, with the way that they have scanning in and out, it is a little difficult. So that's why it's really, you have to narrow it down. There's a lot that we missed this year. A lot.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that's even outside of the convention center of all these different experiences as well. So my thing that I kind of wanted is even though we've talked about the stuff that can scare you from ever wanting to do SDCC, our point of bringing this up is not to scare you, and that is the key thing. We don't want to scare you. We want you to have a fun time. We want you to have a blast.
And we said that every single time. This is, it's third year, and this is going to be our fourth year coming up. We're going to be doing it in a completely different capacity next year, so it's always going to be a learning curve. But I would never, even with you, everyone was like, Rich, is this something you can do? Nerdy Chap, I'm like, yeah, you can do this. One, with some, help and guidance, but at the same time with full preparation. It is possible for you to make this thing happen.
And where that statement comes from is the fact that I have a heart condition, I have my own health issues and stuff. And, it's one of those things, a question of like, someone who has ADA issues, can they do this? The answer is yes. But the only thing I'm wanting to say is why I'm saying, we want you to have a blast, and the whole reason why we're letting you know these things is so you can plan with them in mind so that you have an awesome time. If you think, okay, like I said, Disney World on its busiest day, then when you're there and you're able to accomplish what you're able to accomplish, you can walk away going, I did good.
Yeah.
If you think if you go in there with the mindset of this is going to be a breeze and then every experience is just miserable for you, you're going to be miserable.
Right.
You want to have plan, think possibly, this is going to happen, whatever, and go in and whatever you're surprised to get done, you walk out there going, this was amazing. Right. I had a great time. Because you've already planned for worst case scenarios to where you are now just enjoying everything at San Diego.
Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Honestly, I went into this with just mainly two things. That was it. I was like, okay, I just want two things out of this whole weekend. Then I'll be okay with whatever. Those two things were at the same exact time.
Yep, they were.
And that's something I was able to see in advance. So until that moment of having to choose which panel to go to, I just went with what was new. And I found that with Comic-Con, going for the new experiences,
it's really important.
Is actually really important because you can do the same things over and over, and it can be wonderful. Don't get me wrong, there's certain things I do love going back to. I love going to find any of the new Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra merchandise or activities or anything that they have at the Dark Horse booth, and artwork. But over the years, you can become a little complacent in just doing the same thing, and I think Comic-Con is about new experiences.
That's correct.
Because
I agree.
It's really... Honestly, it's eye-opening. If you go just for, talent and show panels and movie panels, that's great. But make sure you branch out, because there's a whole other side of Comic-Con that really gets overshadowed, that we covered a little bit with Melissa, which are those international panels. Remember, this is Comic-Con International.
Yeah.
This is different than most of the national conventions that we have. These are people coming from around the world bringing their comics or their rhetoric on comics.
Their
experience with culture and diversity in the world of comics.
Showing us what's going on in the world so that we can kind of feel some sense of global unity. And of course, this year they just stepped up the diversity panels just on hype. It was amazing.
And the comic
focus. The thing is we know two people who showed up to San Diego and left with jobs. So, it's odd to show up at a San Diego Comic-Con and all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm now working in what I love doing. And that's Cynthia Kirkland. She did her universe thing. She was awarded the prize of now being a fashion designer for her universe. And then Melissa, who's also part of this thing, she went there hoping to get published. She's going to be published.
She is published, but she's getting a publishing deal.
Yeah, she's getting a publishing deal.
Rather than self-publishing.
Yeah,
Furthering career. So it's not always about,
By the way,
I want to see talent.
Both of whom are two of our ambassadors.
So yeah, it's not just about. I mean, yes, go see those actors that you love. I mean, that's why I say narrow it down to at least one of those panels. But branch out. Networking is big at Comic-Con because they're people from around the world, and if you're an artist of any kind, specifically illustration or any manner of like physical art form or digital art form that can be translated into movie, book, art, etc. Sorry, movie, book, comics and stuff, etc. You know what I mean?
Transmedia.
There are portfolio reviews that cover an entire area of the sales pavilion and upstairs in the convention center. You can get a job with really big companies just by showing up to Comic-Con and having a portfolio.
Yeah, remember we told you Legion M did portfolio reviews every day for a certain amount of time, straight with Terry Luberoff. As a matter of fact, that is how we were able to, create such a wonderful friendship with the Legion M family, is by their willingness to look at what it is we do here at Diversely Geek and see that they're, that they love what we're doing and to be part of it. So I know I didn't explain everything to you, but things have happened.
Yeah.
Good stuff has happened and it's, I love the environment. I love the atmosphere. Is it frustrating? Absolutely. Is it exhausting? Absolutely. Is it something that you're going to want to go back to? On an average, absolutely.
Yeah. So, again, when you said about two things happening at the same time, case in point, Clone Wars panel is happening at the same time as the Doctor Who Hall H panel.
Yeah, the premiere and the first time anyone's getting to see the cast. So what do we do?
So, coin flip on that one. Me, I chose neither because I was arriving to Comic-Con my first day Thursday because I didn't get the preview day because I don't think it was offered to me actually, now that I think about it. But anyway, I had to show up and just get my badge. So having to get my badge, having to make sure that I got my stuff to get the autograph, because the autograph I got with Jeff Johns was happening that day, which was at 11, which also was going around the same time. I had to choose the alternative path, option C. But despite me having to choose option C, and therefore then choosing, after I got my Jeff Johns autograph, to explore the area, and I got in line for the MIlleniumFalcon experience, so I let them know, hey, I picked up a time for us, we need to be here so we can do this thing. On that same day where I wasn't banking on seeing anyone from the Clone Wars, nor banking seeing anyone from Doctor Who, and accepting that as a fact, I ran into Matt Lanter, I ran into Ashley Eckstein, and I saw Jodie Whittaker at the Her Universe thing. So again,
in a much more intimate,
I would say,
intimate setting.
As the saying goes, God is good, or as other people may say, I manifested that, or the powers that be led the positive way.
Yeah.
You never know that even if you sacrifice X and Y, you might end up with Z that gives you both X and Y.
Perfectly said, because it's exactly what it was.
Yeah, that's how I felt
exactly
about
what it was.
Between
And wasn't it crazy to be at Her Universe and you get to see Matt Lanter, you get to see D. Bradley Baker, you get to see Jodie Whittaker, all on the same stage within minutes of each other. So talk about juxtaposition. Yep.
I wasn't there. I was sick.
Which is going to happen. It is a Comic-Con phenomenon, and she was supposed to be on the way to Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
which I also
was also a one-of-a-kind, first of its kind of anything for Comic-Con. But you know what? We all have to accept the fact that we're not everything we wanted to see is going to happen. You guys know that the highlights of I already told you of my experience. I've told you so many of them, but asking that first question of the Wonder Woman panel, asking that question at Voltron, I cannot even express to you what that meant to me in my life.
Hi, Diversely Geek Lovelies. We are here together, and tune in next time as we talk about Clone Wars, the return of Clone Wars, and what it means to you. Light 'em up, everyone! May the Force be with us, and also with you.